Hello my friends, so it's Chris here from the School of Embodiment. I'm in our little cafe in Stroud and I wanted to share a really powerful practice for you to help you release emotions. So these emotions that we experience, they can really hold on, and it's actually resistance to the emotions that we have inside which makes them hold on. So it's us saying, no, I don't want this emotion, which makes it hold on. So I'm going to teach you a little method in which you can help this resistance let go so that the emotion can move through. But to be honest with you, once the resistance has let go, you don't really care about the emotion anymore because it's so small. Emotions only seem big. Emotions that we're struggling with, even traumas that we're struggling with, anxiety that we're struggling with, any of these big feelings we're struggling with are actually much smaller than we feel them to be. It is the resistance to them which makes them feel huge and which causes us a lot of distress. So I'm going to bounce off a comment that came in the other day on our channel, which says, well, first she starts by saying, this video deserves millions of views. Thank you, Garden of Nia. And then she said, even allowing the one who resists to hold on for as long as it wants equals game changer. Paradoxically, this allows all resistance to melt and even more identification with it. So she says, if you allow the resistance to hold on for as long as it wants, it's a game changer. And that allowing the resistance to hold on for as long as it wants helps the resistance melt away. So let's just go through this. If you have an emotion, if you have anxiety, if you have any inner experience that you're struggling with, the struggle is in the resistance. The ego is resistance. The only thing the ego is resistance, is a no saying to your experience. Now, I would say to you, if you're experiencing an emotion now, if you're in an inner experience that you don't want right now, can you feel this resistance? Can you feel this feeling inside of, I don't want this? Now, the I don't want this feeling isn't the emotion. That is a layer of resistance on top of the emotion. Now, as well as having this resistance to the emotion, we also have resistance to the resistance. There's something in us that is resisting the resistance in us. So how can we pull the what's that thing called? The Jenga block out and help the whole thing fall down? Well, what if you allow yourself to resist as much as you are? You are resisting right now if you're experiencing something you don't want. By definition, if you're experiencing something you don't want, you are resisting your experience. So what if you just allow yourself to resist as much as you are? Don't fight the resistance. Say yes to the resistance. Welcome the resistance. Allow yourself to resist as much as you are. Allow the resistance to be here for as long as it wants to be here. Soften to the resistance. Open to the resistance. Let the resistance grow stronger. Now, I have an emotion within me now, and there's a layer of resistance. Resistance isn't something that you necessarily can just let go of. I'm sorry, the camera cut off. As I was saying, resistance isn't something that you can necessarily just let go of in one big go. If you suddenly let go of all the resistance in your body in one big go, your ego would completely vanish. You would expand so much that it would be probably quite overwhelming. We let go of layers of resistance. There are layers of resistance within our nervous system. So it's normal if you're having lots of thinking patterns, if you're having emotions, if you're a normal kind of human being, you will have resistance within the body. Resistance lets go in layers. So in this practice, you're going to be welcoming the resistance, opening your arms to the resistance, and that may help a subtle layer of that resistance drop away, or a big chunk of resistance drop away. But don't try to stop the resistance, because if you say, I don't want this resistance, what is that? The one saying, I don't want this resistance, is resistance. So don't try to stop the resistance. In fact, do the opposite. Allow yourself to resist fully. Allow yourself to resist fully. I fucking hate this experience. And say yes to that one. Say yes to the one who does not want to experience what you're experiencing right now. And let that one hold on for dear life. It's like I've got an image coming into my mind, I'm not entirely sure why, of like a plane, and they open the door and you've got a parachute on and you're standing at the door and you want to jump out of the plane, but your body's holding on to the sides like this, like no, it's holding on. So instead of trying to peel the hands off and booting yourself out, just allow yourself to hold on even tighter. Instead of jumping out the plane, just hold on really tight, just freaking climb back in, shut that door, let yourself resist fully, and in that, there may be a relaxation. I'm not sure if that was a very good analogy, to be honest, because it might be a lot more freeing and fun to actually jump out the plane. So if that didn't land for you, just ignore it. But the teaching is, discover where within your body and within your mind there is anything saying no to this moment. And it might be subtle. If there's a subtle sense of dis-ease, a subtle sense of unease, then that subtle sense of unease is resistance to your experience. Lots of people feel it in the throat, this holding in the throat. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and my throat, it's just holding on. I can just feel it. And there's thoughts looping around associated with it. There's nothing I can do about that. There's just something holding on in the throat. But if I just gently allow my experience to be as it is, if I don't fight the fighter, if I allow the fighter to be there, if I have my head on the pillow and I just let myself be in resistance, then it may unwind and drop, and a sense of open beingness enters my experience. A sense of expansiveness opens my experience. My friends, this whole entire path of awakening, this whole entire path of healing is only to do with one thing: relinquishing resistance to our experience. And you don't relinquish resistance to your experience by resisting the resistance. You relinquish resistance to your experience by welcoming the resistance, by letting the resistance in, allowing the resistant one to be here, and at the same time recognizing that which is here, which is already not resisting your experience, which is not in resistance to your experience.